And hello, everyone. What's up? We are live. This is FSP episode 121. Today is November the 4th, and we are in the, I guess, holiday peak season of gaming, even though in general, November is like, not as many releases as normal, I would say, this year, but we already had a lot of big time releases in October and stuff, including Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which I think is amazing. I've been playing a lot of. But yeah, we do have a couple of big releases still coming around the corner for Xbox, and that includes December as well. So not to say that this year is done by any means, especially on the Xbox side. But yeah, gaming is glorious here this year, and we're gonna have some fun talking about some of the games and also some other stuff. There's been some interesting comments and stuff made today regarding multi-platform releases from some of the Japanese publishers and stuff like that. So we're gonna have some fun talking about that and some more. And as always, we're graced with the presence of the pixelated echoers themselves. And shout out to these guys and everybody in the chat. Appreciate you being here. But hey, 3-bit, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. I got to play some games this week. I had a Halloween party and we all played Overcooked.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw you playing Overcooked. I was like, out of all the shit that's out right now, and me and Kate happened to notice you playing Overcooked. We were
yeah,
like, Call of Duty came out, like all this other stuff's out, like, and you're sitting there fucking playing Overcooked. It was like, there's got to be some reason. So
yeah,
you're having a party. Like,
yeah. I was having a party, and it
okay.
randomly like popped up in my head. Like, I feel like this would be a good party game to play with people. And then before you know it, we were almost at the last level. Um, So I had like 8 different people over, probably more than that. And we were just playing Overcooked all day. Like at first I was like, "Yeah, let's play some other games, whatever," but they just got really into it. And yeah, it was really fun. I always say Overcooked is like that one game that's kind of like Monopoly, where it's the game that can ruin friendships because a lot of chaos can happen pretty quickly.
Yeah,
So I've been playing that. I beat Call of Duty the campaign,
nice.
Black Ops. I haven't played the campaign since Black Ops 2. So
Wow.
it was yeah, it's a long time coming.
That's like
And I
50
really enjoyed it.
Call of Duties ago, probably something like that. I don't even know how many have been since
Yeah,
Black Ops
I
2. I
played
mean,
that on the 360 too.
yeah,
So that's how long ago I played a Call of Duty, and this one was on Game Pass. I was like, all right, let's do it. And I really liked it. So I'm sure we'll get into like Call of Duty talk and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed it. I started to play a little bit of the multiplayer today, getting a little better. The first time I played it, I like died every 5 seconds. So maybe I'll get a group together and we could play some more. But yeah, it's been a good busy week. Did some stuff for the Bucks Stadium. So if you're in Milwaukee for some reason and you see some cool screens, probably did those. So yeah, busy week, good gaming week. Got a lot of gaming done this week, so proud of that. And yeah, here I am.
that's awesome. Just shout out to if you have another party, right?
Yeah.
There's another game. So this is a game that me and my wife and daughter all played together, couch co-op, right? It was moving out.
Ooh,
So
okay. Yeah, I'm always looking for like good co-op games
yeah,
to play
that's
with people.
that's a really good like 4-player couch co-op game, and it
Ooh,
can
okay.
be hilarious and fun and
Is that
stuff.
first person or is that
No, it's
is it?
like top down, and you have like these. You drive this like stupid little moving van around the town, an overhead view, kind of like old school game style. You remember like
Mm,
the old Ninja Turtle games or something? You have like the turtle van, you like move it around
mhm.
or whatever. Like so, this you can kind of like free roam your little moving van around, and you go to your next job, and it's like a house or whatever,
Yeah.
and you gotta get all the furniture and shit out into the moving truck. But it
Oh,
has
that
like
sounds
that
fun.
like it's physics based, so you have, like, couches, you need 2 people, so you need, like, 1 person on each end, so, like,
Mhm.
you're holding one side and, like, somebody else is holding the other side, and
Is it
like trying
online or is it mostly local?
moving out 2 has online.
That's very similar. Overcooked, like no online for the 4 player or whatever,
Right.
which was fine. We're all in the same room. But the second one apparently is online. Okay, yeah, I'll check
Yeah.
that out.
The second one is chaos because there's like sometimes you like have to move animals in the second one, and there's
Yeah,
like pigs and chickens and cows and stuff, and like
yeah,
the chickens keep flying out of their pens. It's just like absolute chaos, dude.
yeah.
But
Same thing with Overcooked too. Like you
yeah,
have to throw ingredients to other people. Like you can throw it, and that introduces way more mechanics and
yeah.
stuff. I'm like, I don't know. but
So imagine
uh,
Overcooked, but it's some of the ingredients you need 2 people to move,
oh yeah,
right? And you gotta have 1 person on each end, but, like, you gotta, like, work together to get through the house, so you gotta, like, turn and stuff, you know?
that sounds
And then
fun.
you can throw it through windows too, so but, like, you hold the button to throw, and there's, like, the swing mechanic, and you gotta time it, but, like, if
Oh,
1
that's
person
cool.
times it wrong, you know it doesn't go anywhere, so
That's
anyway.
actually a really good game idea for co-op. That's actually really cool. I'm gonna
It's
check it out.
it's it's a blast. It's a really good time. And there's also another one that this one is actually at the Tokyo Game Show thing for Xbox.
Mhm.
And it hit Game Pass. And what was the name of the game?
It was a co-op
Um
game.
yeah, it's a co-op game and it's kind of like Tetris and you're like different shapes and you got to fit together to like
Hmm.
do you remember
All you
that?
need is help.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, all you need is help.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Look that
And
up.
that one's pretty fun too. We only played it for like a minute, but we tried it out. We're like, that one's one that we're gonna definitely get to as a family at
Ooh,
some point.
okay. Yeah, I'm always like I feel like in the age where a lot of games are starting to get rid of their co-op and their split screen and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's always nice to find some couch co-op games like that. It's like
yeah.
I'm always looking for some. So yeah,
Just
definitely.
dumb fun games. Back in the day we used to play Seen It on that 360.
Oh
Anybody
yeah,
else
yeah. I think I
ever
played that
played
one.
Seen It on the 3? It came with the controller that had the big buttons on it, you know, so you had like
Hmm.
4 of those and you'd have the movie clips, you'd do like trivia and stuff. Anyway, that was always
Yeah,
a fun party.
I had it. Well, I didn't. Yeah, I played it. I don't have it, but my friend had
Yeah, I would have loved to play that with you because I could imagine you'd have been horrible at it.
it. Trivia is not my thing. Like, we should eventually do like a Jackbox stream here, like live and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I feel like that would be really funny and chaotic. But yeah, we should
We've done
definitely
a
do that.
few of them back in the day, like,
Yeah, a long time ago.
yeah, a long time.
But yeah, we should do it again.
How are you doing, Fuzzy?
I'm yeah, I'm off mute. I'm doing great. Glad to be here with you guys. Been enjoying my time on Blue Sky. A lot less toxic,
Yeah,
but I've curated my Twitter feed so it's not that toxic. But there's just so many people still defending the PS5 Pro, and I find that hilarious to some extent. But man, I've just been enjoying some games, some older games, hitting the backlog a bit, or returning to games that I hadn't finished. Like Prey was one that I played over this weekend. Um, I'm on my sci-fi kick, already, deep into Shattered Space. Also hopped back into Outer Worlds, but I wanted something a little more tension worthy, I guess you could say. So Prey, fit the bill with the mimics, making me shoot duplicates of everything until I get comfortable where they aren't the mimics as far as like, oh, there's 2 speakers. Oh, it's not a mimic. Oh, 2 trash cans, 2 chairs. And then when you get into that it's when they start becoming the duplicates of things. But other than that, just having fun playing Forza Horizon 5. They have a card system now where if you get a ticket, you can get a ticket to get some of the rarer cars that you get to vote on which pair of cars is going to be like up for the free ticket type of thing. But that makes it a lot easier if you're into the collecting cars aspect of it. Still playing State of Decay 2 because still got that zombie fix as well. They did their last update. I guess that was middle of last week and stuff. But for a game that was, what was it, going on 5 years old, 5 years of support, since release. That's pretty damn outstanding. But still a fun game. Still looking forward to State of Decay 3, and I'm hoping they add some different types of bases that you can have. Like I talked about it yesterday with 3-bit. Like I'd love to see them have a mansion style one where it's like a gated or like a walled off, barrier, and then have one that's almost like a prepper's home where they have like the whole bunker set up in the basement kind of thing. Yeah. I think those two bases added to the mix of the ones that they've had, like they've had the mall and things like that. I think that would be a nice addition to it. But man, glad to be here. Just we're gonna have some fun tonight.
Yeah, man. There's been a lot of like random posts about updates to some of these games. You mentioned the Forza Horizon got the new thing, and State of Decay has more updates. Something else I saw with Forza Horizon is there's like a bunch of Halo stuff.
Yes.
Like a ton of Halo stuff just hit Forza Horizon for like the for the lab or whatever to make tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's intriguing. I might dive into that. And speaking of Halo, this week actually we're getting Halo 2 playlist with all the classic Halo 2 maps and everything, and they're even changed the movement speed and stuff to be able to feel like classic Halo, Halo 2 mechanics and stuff like that. So that's a thing. Plus, we're also getting, I think, the third-person mode's launching soon on there.
Nice.
And even with new games, we're getting updates. November the 14th, we're getting season 1 for Black Ops 6, which is going to add 3 maps already. That's that's how you do planned content for a big release. And they went on to say that there's also more maps coming mid-season.
Yep.
And I'm already like, hey, I love the maps that are there, but the maps that they showed off looked pretty fucking awesome too.
Yeah.
So like it's just if you play any of these games and are just kind of immersed into any of them, there's literally just tons of stuff you can keep playing and coming back to. It's one of the best things I like about Microsoft and Xbox too, is just like Forza Motorsport,
NASCAR.
Yeah, we got NASCAR coming. Yeah, and we just got Drift on it finally. So I feel like Forza Motorsport's kind of starting to hit its stride with some of the bigger content updates, right? Things that people have been really asking for.
Yeah, Bathurst is also coming shortly after the NASCAR stuff, or around the same time. So the track out in Australia that people have been looking forward to, that's making a return as well. So yeah, it's definitely stacking up, and I'm all for it. Like I'm really enthused that they got NASCAR, because I was under the impression it was just going to be the license with iRacing. Microsoft pulled it off. They got the pockets to do it as well. But yeah, this will definitely get me back into it a good bit more. But looking forward to it.
I think I want to just fuck with everybody and do the NASCAR tracks in reverse if I ever host some games. So it's like it forces everybody to turn right instead of left.
Go the opposite way.
The pit will be on the opposite side of the track.
Be like Demolition Derby at 200 miles an hour.
Just have to do a fucking U-turn sharp into the pit.
Eventually you run into the first place, dude. Go the other way.
We got to pile up in turn 3.
Yeah, man. But back in the day, cool. I mean, I got to admit, like back in the day in the Forza, remember when they had like clans and car clubs and stuff, and that was like really competitive, like Forza Motorsport, like 3 maybe, I can't remember.
Yeah,
like those matches would get pretty crazy, and if you were losing, you would have your volunteer to stay behind and like try and sabotage the other team coming around the track and stuff. It was nuts, and I had fun doing it, man. But there's so much to play right now, dude. And I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty. I admittedly haven't gotten too far into the campaign just because multiplayer's been so good. And every time I try a different gun, I'm like, this is my gun. I'm done. I don't even need to try another gun.
Until you try the next one.
Until I was like, I want to try it at least. Oh, this is my gun now. They're all so good, man. Um,
Yeah, I gotta start. Like I just still have the default loadouts and stuff. Like I haven't deep dove into the multiplayer side yet, but in the campaign you were able to try a lot of different guns, and I definitely had some like ones I was more comfortable with, like certain shotties that were pretty good, and certain like um, rifles was really digging. So I wonder how well that'll translate to the multiplayer um, sector,
well,
but I don't
I
know.
think the competition is a little bit different difficulty, so
Yeah,
that'll
I
do
mean,
it.
the AI is not going to be like sliding, like stuff like that for
Right.
sure. But yeah, I really like the campaign. I'm looking forward to like you guys, if you end up beating it. Like there's a lot of like sections in there. I'm curious what you think about it, but I'm not going to spoil it yet. But I really thought it was cool.
Right. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll get this out. I was gonna say this for last, but I guess we'll get this out of the way first because Fuzzy mentioned it a little bit ago, and the PS5 Pro has been the talk of the town yesterday and today, but for a different reason because the actual spec sheet got kind of put out there on social media, and it's not exactly what people thought it was. There was a lot of leaks that had come out before where people were assuming it was going to be around like 35 teraflops or something like that. I don't
33, yeah.
33 something. Yeah, I don't. I'm not a flop counter. I don't know how many flops everything has or what the difference is, right? But I know that there was some people on Twitter and stuff really advocating and saying how like this is going to be this, and they were like going around making a lot of noise about it and championing it, saying it was going to do all this and it was going to have this amount of GPU power and all this other kind of stuff. And then that spec sheet kind of came out, and it was like, oh, and
Like
then
all that
now
stuff I said before.
yeah, I'll take the L on it, but it's still better than a Series X is kind of what they're going with now, but it's like nobody ever denied that. Like it's obviously a pro upgrade over a current gen console, but like
Mhm.
um it's interesting to see that kind of conversation now. And I saw a clip where like I think it was John Littleman from a Digital Foundry was talking. I don't remember the other guy's name, but they were talking and
Yeah.
like, he was like, "Yeah, and the, PS5 Pro is 16 something teraflops," and he was like, "What?" And he was, like, kinda caught off guard, and he's like, "Yeah, the official thing is this," and he's like, "Oh, really?" You know? So,
Yeah.
it's definitely not what some had envisioned, I think, as far as doing their analysis and, stuff like that. People are going around, "Well, it's because it has RDNA 3 and you can do double this," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, man."
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but sure. Um, so anyway, like overall, like Fuzzy, do you see a lot of this going on? And overall, do you think that it diminishes somewhat of that $700 value tag that they're asking for it?
I mean, from my standpoint, I kind of knew what it was going to be even before the spec sheet release because I figured what a lot of the other people were saying was nonsense for the fact that the stuff that they were stating would make it a next gen console, and you couldn't ask devs to do an uplift from the PS5 to this when there would be next gen technology. So I knew they were full of it from get go. And a lot of the same people were the same ones that said that the PS5 was going to be RDNA 3. And I'm like, mathematically, that's impossible for the fact that if Xbox, who came later to AMD and the production cycle started later as far as the spec and build, there's no way if they're just meeting the cutoff for the or meeting the finish line of when AMD was finishing RDNA 2 for them to get that tool set, that the console that was started beforehand would have a higher number technology. And the crazy part about it is anybody that knows anything about this stuff knows that RDNA 3 is only an efficiency uplift. It's not like it's giving you better graphical power. It's more like it's using less power to give you the same performance. That's essentially what it is. I mean, yeah, there's some things that can help with the coloring and things along those lines, but it's more of a efficiency, not a full leap in comparison to the RDNA 2 level. So when they were mentioning that for PS5 and then like, oh, this is going to be RDNA 4, I'm like, that's like saying somebody in 2025 is going to get a 2028 car next week when that manufacturer hasn't even released 2026s or 2027s. Like, it's mathematically impossible.
The time travelers, Fuzzy.
Yeah, that must be what it is. But it's like the stuff that they were claiming was like what you would see hopefully in the next gen console. And I just knew that wasn't going to be the case, considering what they were talking about. Like Mark Cerny, brilliant mind, technical wizard. But I think a lot of people hang on some of the smoke and mirror stuff. And it's not that he's giving them smoke and mirrors. When they talk about like half floats or precision floats and things along those lines, it's like, this is stuff that only the tech geeks will know. Devs aren't going to really use unless it's an across the board thing where it's used on PC, it's used on console. And if only one console has this upgrade, much like with Xbox, when it has RDNA 2, devs won't cater to it. I mean, some will spend the time, but the majority won't. And it's like, I never thought this console was worth the $700 price point, but that's my outlook on it. With the spec sheet, maybe more people will come to realize that maybe this isn't worth that $700 or $800 if you want a drive to go along with it. But these are the same people that had egg on their face when the PS5 was released, talking about RDNA 3. I don't understand. For some of the individuals, they are supposed to also be PC heads, and it's like you're defending a console that's like a half step up from what the existing console is. Sure, it's going to have a little more proficiency than the current series consoles, but is it going to be to a point where, oh, I see this picture is 2160 or full 4K, and this is upscale 4K. Like, I think that's about the biggest difference we'll see between a Series X and the PS5 Pro, is that if they use the tools that will require that uplift for the Pro, it'll be like having 1800p on the Series X upscaled to 4K, and the PS5 Pro might reach 4K, but it'll probably downscale or do that variable amount where it's bumping between 2160 and 1900. So it'll have more pixels on screen, but remember, people made a big to-do about 1080p versus 900, but then when the Xbox One X came out and it was like, it's doing full 4K on stuff versus 1080p on like the PS5 Pro, then everybody was quiet. So we'll see if they champion, the 120 plus P that maybe the PS5 Pro will have an advantage over the Series X. But at $200 more, I would expect a lot more for it. But it is what it is.
How many flops were we missing?
What is it, like 4.7? Almost 5. Somebody put it very eloquently earlier on. I think it was on Twitter or maybe it was on YouTube. Somebody was like, it's like adding an Xbox One X to a Series X.
Right.
That's all I think, really.
I think people were running around saying it was gonna be like 33 teraflops, but it was like 60, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's almost half. It's a little less than half short of what people were claiming, but yeah,
I went around digging to find those missing flops. I found them. Until Dawn Remaster was a flop, so that counts.
Oh, yeah.
Forspoken, we can add that in there. Babylon's Fall, that was a big flop.
So all those Concord and stuff. And
Foam Stars was a pretty damn big flop too, so we can add that into there. Destruction All Stars was a pretty huge flop. The PSVR 2 was a pretty damn massive flop. I don't know how many that counts for. I'm
probably
saying
like more, at least 3 or 4.
At least 3 or 4 flops, or is the PSVR 2. And then you got the biggest flop in the history of gaming, which is Concord. So I don't know how many that counts for, but
More than three.
I
More than
think
three.
those flops are probably where the kind of, you know,
Well, the PS5 Pro will probably be added to that, so it'll count as one of its missing flops as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe so. What you got to say about the PS5 Pro there, 3-bit? You gonna get one?
No. No, definitely
No.
not.
Why?
No. All
They're
those
gonna.
flops are missing. Nah, I
Okay,
gotta. If they added it, then I would consider.
right.
But no, Digital Foundry. So they had a couple videos lately about the PS5 Pro. I seen one recently where he opens the box and he talked about like, oh, I hated the PS5 size. Let me look at this PS5 Pro size, and it's exactly the same size. And his expression was really funny. But yeah, just seeing their reaction to the PS5 Pro, where it's like, oh, this is not what I expected, and this is coming from where most of the community gets their I guess their comparison spec videos, like they get their news and information from Digital Foundry. Like there's certain things I don't always vibe with Digital Foundry, like how they opt out with a lot of Series X games usually having a higher resolution. They basically just stop comparing that with the PS5 versions of games, and they're like, well, look at this, the frame rate is a little bit better in this specific area, and then it just gets into this weird thing. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing with PS5 Pro, like, yeah, all these people out here saying it was like 33 teraflops. Yeah, it's not. It's 16. And I guess a lot of people should have known, because like in the Mark Cerny talk, he talked about how it was going to be. He basically said that the upgrade for the GPU is going to be 67%. So if you were to add that up, that basically adds to that 16. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people was like really touting that number, but it was leaked that it was 16. Or I guess is it officially out right now?
Well, it's
Um,
on paper. It's like I
okay,
think it's from the actual console or something, like
okay.
hardware
Well,
spec sheet.
yeah, so Digital Foundry was mentioning the ray tracing, and I talked about this last night, but they basically mentioned that the ray tracing is the lowest of low of PC settings. But you are seeing the differences within the ray tracing. So if you look at some reflections, it can be like a hit or miss in some cases. It's like smaller differences here and there. I don't think it's worth the 700 plus, especially if you're in another country. Then it gets to 900 to 1,000. But if you don't have a PS5, then this could be like I'm also like an enthusiast, so like I can see how people would want the best of the best graphic quality, even if it's super
Yeah.
minute. But if you already have a PS5, then I don't see this as being worth it. And I kind of criticize like, hey, this is a Pro, so this is supposed to be an addition. And then when you start taking things away, and then you start adding the price, that makes no sense to me. And you just sell it as a separate thing. It's like Sony being Sony, essentially. But yeah, it's like when we get into like the tech conversation of like people saying, it's really just a lot of misinformation of like how powerful this thing is. We had people out here saying that it was like equivalent to a 4090, and
Mhm.
saying like this is way better. And then Digital Foundry does stuff like, yeah, this could barely hit the low setting of ray tracing, right? And you had people out here saying it was like RDNA 3, well, actually it's 4 and 5 and stuff like that. I think people just forget, if you just rewind, when the Xbox came out and then the PS5 came out, Sony was first, but Xbox waited because they wanted full RDNA 2 technology in their box. So that's why the Xbox came out later. There's a reason why, like, it's the only console with full RDNA 2 technology. So Sony has their own implementations of it. Like they have a lot of software based solutions, and Digital Foundry like talks about that with VRR. Like they have like software versions of that where it's not as good as the Xbox's implementation, but they do have it there. Like with the PS5 Pro, they have like they keep telling like the AI with the PSSR technology, and what Fuzzy was kind of saying earlier. It's really up to the developers to start using this tech. I would compare if someone was to say like how powerful is the PS5 Pro to the PS5, I would kind of compare it to honestly the Series X to the PS5, and where the power difference is between those two. Because I know a lot of people's like, wow, PS5 is outperforming Series X sometimes or whatever, but Series X is on paper a more powerful console than PS5. And I would just say like that it's like a 20-25% maybe difference, which you can see in like texture resolutions. That's why like a lot of Series X games has a higher resolution in like textures and but like the frame rate can be inconsistent sometimes. It's really up to the developers. So it's the same problem that's going to be with this most likely. PS5 Pro, a lot of developers have to just you utilize those features, but honestly, it's the ray tracing box in my eyes. Like if you care about ray tracing, um, and you really just want shinier windows, this is the box for you. Other than that, you're not going to see like huge performance displacements and stuff like that. So it's like a lot of the same technology as the PS5, as Fuzzy was kind of saying. Like it's not like a jump in next gen technology, but they did add like really good stuff for ray tracing. So we'll see what the developers end up prioritizing and things like that. But it's about maybe this a similar jump from Series X to PS5, I would say. Um, so yeah, it's not for me. It's definitely not for me. I think like it's very overpriced, and it's weird that they're even releasing this with no game to at least come with it, in my opinion. Like you would think like, hey, I'm touting this box. Here is the game that comes with this box, but they just like, here are the remakes and remasters we made since the beginning of the PS5 generation, and we're gonna show it again, with the PS5 Pro to tout the power. I'm just like, oh, okay. Like if it was me, I would have showed Ghost of Yute. That's coming around the corner, right? That would be a good example of like, let me show off the power of this box. Like, ooh, look, this was Ghost of Tsushima, but look, this one's shinier. Ooh. But they have this weird remake remaster fetish right now, and I think their roadmap is a little sketchy. But for the people out there, they know like Sony knows how to brand stuff very well. So some people are out here are going to claim it's like a 4090. This is the best, and that's what's going to happen. But that's not going to be reality. Same thing that's been happening with the PS5. People said it was like RDNA 4 and 5 is better than Series X and stuff like that. Same thing this time around, but not for me, but for the people out there who don't have PS5s, this could be cool for you, especially if you want to play like GT7 with like on track ray tracing. Yeah, all the cool stuff, but not for me, but I'm sure it's for peeps out there.
Yeah, it's like if I was a PlayStation only gamer, right? Like I'm in the Xbox ecosystem for the most part. Like I play on PC and Xbox, right? And even if it was Xbox with this level of increase, like I would, if I were to buy this, I would know I'm getting fucked. But I'm willing to have that happen to me. Like I'm like, well, it is what it is. I'm going in and wasting money for a slight improvement just to get the best experience possible for the rest of this generation, right? And I think for the console only players that are going to be buying this, it's got to be like that kind of gamer that's like, I only play on PlayStation. This is where I buy all my multiplats. I'm going to walk into the store with my head held low and know I am completely getting fucked buying this thing. But I am going to get a better experience out of it at the end of the day. So I'm willing to pay what I got to have that kind of
Yep.
right. So, how much better of an experience is it? I don't know. Time will tell. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a huge difference. The where I was hoping it would make a big difference was in the frame rates, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I know they had some comparisons where they're trying to blend you having to choose modes, which I really dig. In fact, they should like really hint on that more in their marketing of just being like the quality mode and the fidelity mode, or the fidelity mode and the performance mode. We're gonna just smush those together.
yeah, but the problem for me with that is like, I know because I had two different PS5s that I played off and on this generation. I played a lot of the games.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, like, because like they one thing I'll praise PS5 for is they had generally on their first party games would have three different modes, right? They would have like the performance mode, the performance RT mode, and then like the quality mode,
Yeah,
right?
like with the
And that's great. But a lot of times I'm like flipping back and forth, and like I don't know which one I prefer but like the quality mode never was one that I went with. But like it was also just because the visuals weren't that much better,
I'm a
right?
motion guy, so I mean, I'm with you.
Yeah. So, if you're saying, like, paying this much more money gets me that quality version in 60 frames, that's cool, but the jump isn't big enough there for me with the quality, fidelity difference, right?
Mhm.
It would be there for me for the games that aren't capable of hitting 60 frames in general
Right.
that I now can, right? But that hasn't been
That's not
that
what it's. That's yeah. That's
But
not what
yeah,
it's saying.
but that's not what it seems like it's gonna do, right? So that's where I would have been like, "Oh yeah, that's awesome." Because like I'm playing more and more on PC so far, like lately, just because of the frame rates and stuff. Like I want a smooth 60 experience and things like that. And it just depends on the game. I'll play half on console, half on PC. I prefer playing on consoles because it's a simpler experience usually, right? But I just don't know if it's there enough for me with what they're adding for the dollar amount difference, even for an upgrade.
Yeah, like Alan Wake 2, for example, is still 30 frames and stuff like that. But
Exactly. If you say that's 60 now with like, oh, heck
then
yeah.
that would, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
That's what I'm saying. Like performance wise, it's not going to for unless you are really just optimizing it, but it's really not going to hit on performance as a lot of people are expecting because not a lot is changing there. But the ray tracing um, is where you'll see some differences, some tech like texture upscaling. Like windows might look a little bit better, distant trees might look a little bit better. That's why in Digital Foundry, when you keep seeing the comparisons, they zoom in like 8 times to a tree in the
Yeah,
back.
yeah, because like that's what you have to do to see the difference. Like when they
Yeah.
did on the Ratchet and Clank comparison when they showed it for the first time. Do you see this crowd off sitting in the back in the
Where was there
stands
less people in the crowd, by the
on
way?
Ratchet and Clank?
Yeah.
Like, first off, do I give a shit how many people are in the stands in a Ratchet and Clank game? Like,
It's
and
just
and
crazy.
like, or like, whoever even thinks of that. Secondly, it's not something that is going to add to my like. I'm not paying $3 extra $100 for that.
You want more
For
crowd detail.
more
But
blurry
what
dots in the background. Like, what is and when you zoom in, they still look like pixelated monsters. I don't know what they are. Like, they're like,
but what was weird, Mav, is like when I seen that comparison, I didn't realize till someone was pointing it out because I put it on one of our, I think it was the stream you were on or something. I forgot where I put it. But they were like in the PS5 Pro version, like sure, maybe it looks a little bit better, but why is there less people in the crowd? So like that is their way of
that's the fidelity
optimizing.
mode. You're getting the fidelity mode now, which includes less people, but you're getting it at a higher
Like enough said. Like enough said.
right? Like, but that's
Yeah.
what they're selling anyway. So, shout out to Decado.
Oh yeah.
Decado hit us with 5 fun speculation memberships. Appreciate it. Decado, shout out to you and everybody for being here. And if you got one of the speculation memberships, choo choo.
Choo choo! Ha 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 ha!
It just cracks me up every time.
Indiana Jones previews are glowing, by the way. So far, people are really liking it. And also, speaking of choo choo motherfuckers, we got Refudge Gaming in the chat.
Oh.
Not to be
Still selling that coffee?
not to be mistaken for his twin brother. Says, hello, my fellow gamers. Anyone want to give me 90,000 members? The PS5 Pro is a wash, so I need to buy a gaming PC and get my kids some chicken nuggets.
Don't knock the hustle. Don't knock the hustle.
Yeah. Is that your goal? I noticed something too, right? And which I thought of this when I saw this, because like the content creator that we're spoofing here, right, is one of those people that's just always begging for stuff. But like YouTube has this new thing in it that I noticed on Friday before we went live for XUP. So like in YouTube Studio, like there's a button here that I can hit that says goal. And if I hit the button that says goal, it says pick a goal. This is real, right? This is real.
Like a subscriber goal?
10 super chats, 5 super chats, 15 super chats, 20 super chats, 30 or 50 super chats. And then it says choose the super chat colors that count. So I can choose if I don't want to count your light blue and lower super chats towards my goal. You can also make it to where only red and higher super chats count, which is $100. And you can also set a timer for your goal. So I'm going to set a goal for 50 super chats of $100 or more. And I'm going to give you guys 15 minutes and we'll see what happens. Literally, you have the option of doing that. Yes, it's a thing on here. I'm not actually going to do that, but like, I thought it was hilarious looking through this stuff, man, and it made me think of people like that, and how they're going to utilize this. Yeah, exactly. How they're going to use this thing, right? So anyway, also something else that was new that popped up when this same thing happened. YouTube is now also trying to entice me to put mid-roll ads on the shows. Every time I launch the studio now, there's a big banner across the top. It says creators adopting live automated mid-rolls saw on average over 20% uplift in in-stream ad revenue per hour.
This is reminding me of all the stuff that Pong like kind of jokes about.
Yeah,
where he's just like, if we don't want to get ads in our shows, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're getting the train rolling. We're kind of making fun of that, but like the fact that it's actually becoming like features within YouTube.
Yeah, I turn the ads on after we're live, but I don't want my live show to be interrupted by ads. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
like we're in the middle of a tense conversation. You're like, oh wow, we found the secret cure to cancer. Here it is, and there's like an ad.
Yeah, and like we'll sometimes be saying some crazy shit, and if it like cut to some kind of like
Carvana,
Carvana commercial, like or like an Aflac commercial or something, a 3-bit, like like it was like bad timing, Anyway, shout out to Gaming Forte, hit us with a $2 super chat. Shout out, I appreciate you being here, man. Says slowly moving over to the master race. Great job,
PC.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I love dual entitlement. It's my new favorite thing. Call of Duty, like Black Ops with Game Pass, PC Game Pass, regular Game Pass. I've been hopping back and forth. All my loadouts are there. The progress for my campaign is there. It's been seamless. So far. I understand that people are saying if you buy stuff within one storefront, it doesn't like go move over to the other, like in-game purchases and stuff like that. But I've been having fun just being able to hop back and forth, and that goes for all the Xbox games. Even like Metaphor ReFantasio, I've been doing that. I love it, man. That's why I want to see the future of gaming go. If you're asking me like, hey, what you want to see happen with the future of gaming? I want to see that continue to be pushed where I can access my games no matter where I am, the progress carries over and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to have to worry about an explanation of how to move your progress over if you upgrade from a PS5 to a PS5 Pro. I saw that going around today as well. How do you transfer your save? It's
Yeah.
24, motherfucker. I don't want to have to transfer my save.
Yeah, that's kind of great. Like everything is so like sometimes I take that stuff for granted when I'm on
Yeah.
like the Xbox and then I move over to like a PS5 thing. Like, oh yeah, like where's my save, my cloud? Oh, it's all gone because I didn't pay the subscription or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. And then like there's like a lot of there's like a lot of life quality things that are on the Series X that I'm just like oh, this is easy, this is nice. That is not on the Sony. But also, what the heck?
I don't know I should have actually turned the timer on. I suppose.
Yeah, actually, just to see.
Shout out to
Oh my God.
Brandon Martin hit us with a $2 super chat. First off, said have 81 hours in Black Ops 6 already, and go Eagles.
Wow.
I have a hard time saying the last part.
Wait,
Thanks,
what was that
Brandon.
last part again?
Go Eagles.
Yeah, I didn't hear you, man. Actually,
It's
Go
I have
Birds.
81 hours in Black Ops 6 already. Go Eagles. And shout out to Holy Shit Decado
my
with
gosh,
the $100 super chat, man. You're absolutely amazing. Says hashtag no ads, hashtag no beans, hashtag all speculation, and hashtag refudge.
we're getting closer to our goal. Not there yet, Decado. With your
We
$100.
only need 999 more speculators here before we can afford our new PC. Let's go, everybody.
We're almost there to our goal.
And if you're a
Thanks,
regular
guys.
member, it doesn't count. You need to upgrade to the Pro Speculation Membership Plus. $1 more. It's only $1 more. And if you're a gifted membership, you don't count either. You got to make sure you actually become a real member. That's actual shit like you hear on that stuff, man. It's crazy. No, but Decado, dude, super appreciate it, man. And again, like here, we joke about this stuff a lot, but like support is never expected at all. We do this for fun, but it is always appreciated very much. So thank you so much for helping support the channel and everything that we do here.
Shout out to you, bro.
So yeah, like PS5 Pro, I don't know, man. I would probably be a sucker, honestly, if I only played on PlayStation and that was my only ecosystem. And but I don't think it's going to be as popular as a PS4 Pro was.
And Roberto Z, he made a good point. He said earlier, like, see how the narrative changed. First show and tell. Cerny said majority of people mainly go with performance over quality. Then they said their main focus with the Pro is to try to mesh both. Now it's about ray tracing. Yeah, it kind of moves. I think for certain games though, Roberto, like they are trying to mesh both, but it's not all games. So it's just like if you're buying a Pro, you have to, like, I guess, do your research and in which game will probably try to mesh both, or which one will they just kind of just do like a shinier quality mode or what have you. But yeah, I guess that's the risk you kind of run with buying it. You don't really know. I don't think it'll be huge performance boost, but you might get like shiny stuff going on. But shout out to you, Decado.
Yeah. Antonio Newman says, Matt, how about them Cowboys? Y'all took the L to my Falcons. Yeah, I mean,
we won? Falcons won?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta start watching. We did something.
We also had a couple more guys get hurt in the game, which were already depleted on the Cowboys pretty significantly.
From the Falcons game?
Yeah. Dak got hurt. CeeDee Lamb was playing through pain. Like it was funny, like as a Cowboys fan, seeing like, because those are two players that got their huge contracts. The sports detour, sorry. But like CeeDee Lamb is grimacing in excruciating pain, right? He like landed on his shoulder really bad. And each time he landed, he's like in pain. He's like grimacing on the sidelines. He keeps going back in the game, making another catch, getting even more in pain. Then they throw a deep ball to him, and he makes a diving attempt to catch it, and then like he just can't like barely move, like he's hunched over in pain. He goes to the sideline, and he's like, you can tell this guy's in misery, right? But he still wants to go back in the game because there's still a chance, you know. Dak
Yeah.
also got the contract. He threw the ball, his hamstring did something, and then after the game, when they asked him about it, he was like, "Yeah, the hamstring felt funny. It did something different." And the coaches said, "I can't protect myself anymore." I'm like,
Okay.
just the difference in the warrior mentality, like
Yeah.
in the mindsets. Like I don't know. I appreciate CD.
No, I love stuff like that. Like it like that. You don't always get that in a lot of sports where you can tell the dedication, like they spent
Yeah.
their lives, dedicated to this sport, and then like how it's displayed is like, yeah, I'm going through pain or whatever, but this is what I do. This is the mentality I have. I love seeing stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
that actually makes me love watching sports. It reminds me of like when Michael Jordan, he had the flu and everything, and he just kept going out
Yeah.
there and trying to score a bunch of points, like that famous game. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I
and
love
even
stuff
even if Dak couldn't have gone out, like I want to see him like try and do something on the sideline to test it at least, like see if you get like anything like that. Like, but no, it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna hear rush. And then he got
Yeah.
caught on camera saying we fucking suck.
like
Yeah,
dang.
no, not a good look, man. Anyway, the cast
Yeah,
my Cowboys rant, but at this point, I'm just rooting. I'm looking at the mock drafts. I'm hoping we move up the draft boards. Everybody else
Hey,
knock us out.
you
We
can
need to bench everybody.
root for my team temporarily.
Do the Falcons?
Yeah.
You don't sound too enthusiastic about that. Yeah.
Because like every Georgia team always lets me down. So it's like even hard for me to like root for a team here.
Yeah.
That's why I outsource my fandom to other teams out there.
Oh, you're a bandwagoner is basically what you're
I am. Yeah.
saying.
I have no
Right on.
loyalty whatsoever. Because my favorite team for a while was the Bulls, it was the Bulls and it was the Eagles for a while just because like Madden 2005,
Like
like
you're in the
that was
big
the
nab.
cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo. Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, this is kind of cool. And then that's why I love that team for a while. And yeah, it is what it is. But like I had a loyalty to the Hawks for a long time, basketball. But I was like when I first moved here to Georgia, but I went to a game, they lost. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fine. We'll get them next time. Went to another game, they lost. I was like, all right, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I went to like 10 games in a row. They lost every single one. It's like you picture like a montage scene of me like holding up Hawks gear and then slowly I'm just like dropping over time. And yeah, then after a while I started booing the Hawks at these games. I'm like, boo, you suck. And people were looking at me. And yeah, here I am.
You were the jinx. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I probably was because every single game I went to, they lost. So now I have no loyalty to any team. I'm like, you seem good. I'll root for you. But yeah, I do want a team eventually.
Yeah. I'm thinking the Cowboys need a Concord Dak Prescott. Let's call it a loss. At this point, I'm just $400 million down the drain. A little less for Dak. Anyway, well, we'll see what happens. I would like to see if I was to pick a team, I want to see that actually has a chance. Like I love the way the Lions play right now. I love the running game. I like the coach Dan Campbell. He's awesome. I like the way he even talks about his team and the players and like how enthusiastic he is. They just play like hard ass football, run the ball, and they can still throw too. And it's exciting to watch. I love watching them play, even though they killed us. Killed us. Anyway,
and you'll see before we move on. Yosemite was saying like every Georgia team, the World Series 2021 Braves. I will say, out of all the Georgia teams, because we used to have a hockey team, we had the Atlanta Thrashers, but they went back to Canada. Like,
Yeah.
talk about loyalty and whatever. They went back to Canada. And the Braves, I guess, is our best team. Like, they're the most
Yeah, the Braves are a historic franchise.
yeah. Like, so I don't watch baseball like that, but yeah. I guess they're our best team. I forgot about them.
Yeah, they're classic, man. Classic.
Them and the Yankees, I guess, are like the two teams.
Yeah, I love the football talk. I could like before we started channel, like one of the things I wanted to do was talk sports at one point. So please excuse my side tangent. Sometimes it's in my blood. I can't help it. Anyway, let's get back to gaming. Madden 20. No, just kidding. So besides the whole PS5 stuff, something that happened today actually that I found interesting, and I think it was Pong who had shared this in the
Was it
in our DMs.
the
I'm
age
trying
thing?
to find it. It was a Sega.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, was it gaming or was it
yeah. It's in the fam one. The
Fam-
Persona and Yakuza stuff.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to read. It's actually what I did for the thumbnail. Yeah, it was Pong who shared this. This is from gamesradar.com. So this was regarding Sega and talking about their franchises, right? And we talked about this a lot when, especially regarding Square, when they were always criticizing their own games, and saying, "Oh, we missed we didn't do as well as we hoped we would with this one," right? Well, you made it exclusive, you idiots, right? And then we saw Sega, had made a transition because they had used to put only some games only on PlayStation as well, right? Like the Yakuza series, and Atlas had only done Persona over there on PlayStation as well, and stuff like that. So, this article I thought was very interesting. So this is from Games Radar, and it says, as the Persona and Yakuza series fly beyond 20 million sales each, Sega says its JRPG successes are thanks to the power of multi-platform releases. Now, I remember listening to a lot of shows back in the day on maybe like 4 years ago, not that long ago, saying Xbox gamers don't care about these games. Why people even ask for them or bother asking these companies to move them over here? They should be wasting their time on other things, right? But no, it's apparently, hey, it's working for Sega, right? They said the Persona series has now reached over 23 million players worldwide, and Yakuza almost 28 million. And Sega says that this fast-growing success can be attributed to a few key choices regarding games releases. According to Sega's annual integrated report for 2024, both the Persona and Like a Dragon franchises are flying. The former series boasts 23.5 million copies sold, while the latter has hit a whopping 27.7 million sales worldwide. These impressive figures include digital and physical sales, with the Persona 5 line of games and spin-off titles accounting for over 10 million copies sold alone, almost half of the series' lifetime sales.
Mm.
The JRPG's success, as Sega describes it, comes for a few reasons, with the first being the publisher's multi-platform approach to launches. It also comes down to simultaneous worldwide releases, with statements from one of last year's quarterly reports highlighting plans for future titles like Persona 6 to drop across multiple platforms globally on day one. Sega cites remasters and spin-offs as factors for sales growth too, with recent examples like Persona 3 Reload. Earlier this year, the remaster of the beloved 2006 entry was released following the very standard Sega says are responsible for high sales. Persona 3 Reload launched across all systems worldwide at once on February 2nd. It certainly seems to be working for the company, and as a longtime fan of JRPG series like Persona and action-adventure gems such as Like a Dragon, I'm happy not to have to wait for any delayed global release. This is from Anna Kolselki at Games Radar. So this is just more evidence about, hey, not taking these, insurance deals, I'll call them, like get some money up front from PlayStation or somebody and say, hey, we're just going to only put your game here, market it here. And then it's timed, whatever, a year or maybe not, or who knows exactly. But then later we'll put the games everywhere else, right? Or maybe never. And it seems like Sega has kind of paved the way for Square Enix, seeing their successes with these classic franchises, to be doing the same thing as well. Because Square Enix has also recently doubled down, and another more comments made from their president about bringing their games to Xbox. So, as many people said, it wasn't going to matter. It wasn't going to move the needle. It wasn't going to do anything for these companies. Xbox gamers don't buy these games, all these other kind of stuff. Sega seems to disagree. And you've actually seen growth with their franchises like a Dragon, Yakuza, and Persona because of this. So yeah, Square Enix is next. They've been already doing it. We had Visions of Mana drop this year already on Xbox, and there's going to be more to come too. A Dragon Quest HD 2D remake is still slated to hit this year as well from Square. So overall, this is kind of when everybody says more and more games are skipping Xbox than ever before. I'm like, no, we called this. All of us on our channels, we called this early on, saying that eventually this generation, as more and more people, as the generation moves on, these companies are not going to be happy taking that money from PlayStation in this kind of dwindling console only sales approach that they've had, and they're going to want to be putting their games elsewhere. And if they do take deals, they might be interested and more likely in either doing Xbox marketing or Xbox Game Pass deals, because those are the deals that aren't limiting your access to other platforms. And that's what we've seen so far this year and late last year as well, and also so far with the with those Sega games. So it's been working for them, and it's interesting to see. And I think this is kind of paving the way for kind of what to expect from. I think you're going to have less big publisher timed exclusives. I think you're still going to have some from the double A's and the smaller publishers, but even wasn't it Koei Tecmo also just had another? They said also they're going to be doing more self-publishing across multiple platforms as well, instead of taking publishing deals. So you're seeing even some of these companies that have been taking some of these deals more recently are realizing that's not the approach. We need to be putting our games everywhere. It's better for our franchises. It's better for our brands. It's better for our games, and we're going to sell more copies.
Yep. And it's crazy, like when you look at what the difference is in their approach from last time to this time, when they're saying like, wow, we realize releasing these games on multi-platform devices is pertaining to success. And what is the difference? These franchises used to only release on PlayStation, and now it's on Xbox as well. And when in that article where it talks about like releasing on all these platforms globally at the same time, I feel like that's also an important factor that some other companies need to start doing, like Sony, and instead of like releasing on PC later, because it's like the hype kind of dies down when you don't do that. And like, sure, you can get some sales, but when you basically treat the game, when you're releasing it all at once, it does something to the sales where people are hyped to buy it. They hear about it, they see previews, they see reviews, they're like, okay, I'll check this out, whatever. Come to find out, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna release this on PC like maybe in a year or two from now. That just kills it. It kills the hype and potential sales for the game. So it's definitely an interesting movement we're starting to see from a lot of third-party developers. Like I don't know what caused them to, like, it feels like it's almost happening all at once. Like all of these different developers from Sega, I guess, was not the first one, but like they're definitely the origin starters of basically like, yeah, let's put Persona on Xbox and let's start making deals with Xbox. And and putting our games on Game Pass, and let's try this out essentially. But I'm starting to see that as well with other companies like Square Enix, where they're like, yeah, this didn't work before. I know they had a change in leadership that could have contributed to that. I'm pretty sure, like 100% sure that is why. But yeah, it's like basically a kind of like a mini movement happening with a lot of third-party developers, which is it could be bad for Sony because Sony does really rely on these deals to be perceived in a certain way, be perceived as that platform like that only has these games and stuff. And I think these developers are finding out like, yeah, that upfront money isn't worth it. It was the stuff we talked about for um years now. I guess being on the show, we mentioned the stuff a long time ago that like, hey, Square Enix, like you're complaining about not making enough sales while also limiting your audience at the same time. So like, I don't know. It can go either way. I think what time exclusive games does is it it can cater someone to your specific platform and things like that for sure. But some people like there. I said this on the show last night. Like people are comfortable in the platform that they're in. They're if you have a PS5 and like that is your platform, and you see Indiana Jones coming out, you're like, I don't want to buy an Xbox or something to be in that platform, which is why Xbox is opening up their ecosystem in a lot of ways where you can play Xbox games on PC, on mobile, and things like that. So it's a little bit of an easier transition. But a lot of people are comfortable in the ecosystem that they're in, so they're not going to move. That was shown with Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Like you could have bought it for $70 on Sony, or you could have invested if you have Game Pass for $20 a month. A lot of people chose to just buy the thing for $70, right? So that just shows you, like, yeah, people want options. They want to be able to try out these games on different devices, and some people are just going to stick to Xbox. Some people are going to stick to like the Switch or and Sony and things like that. And that's why these deals are so good, where they are starting to put all the Persona games on like Xbox and stuff. Because for me, like I always wanted to play the Yakuza franchise, and I was like, but I don't really want to get or jump to Sony to do it because that's not my ecosystem, right? I played it a little bit on like the PS3, but I was like, this is great, but I just don't like playing on the PS3. And then eventually came the Game Pass. On most of the Yakuza games, I think one, Kiwami 1, 2, Yakuza 0, 4, 5, and 6 all ended up on Game Pass, and I ended up buying all of them. I know, wow, you buy a game that's on Game Pass. Whoa. But that just goes to show you, like, you never know what you end up doing when you put a game on another platform. I remember seeing how well the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters did on Xbox, for example. It's a game that never really has come to Xbox, and I have always said, like, the reason why a lot of people won't buy Final Fantasy games is like you kind of half-ass it. Like you just like, hey, let me just kind of put one Final Fantasy game and see what happens. Like, oh yeah, it sold kind of well, and then you don't put like the next 5, 6 iterations of that game. So the audience feels when you don't fully put in the work. Like if you are like, I'll treat the PC release later, you're just not going to sell as well. And also if you are putting your game on multiple platforms, and like Sega is, they're realizing like, wow, we are actually growing our audience. Square Enix for years has complained that they're not growing their audience while limiting it at the same time. So yeah, I like it. It just goes into what we've been talking about on these shows, the stuff that Fuzzy mentioned, stuff that Mav mentioned over the years. We've talked about Square Enix, like we almost making fun of them, like you guys are just really shooting yourselves in the foot at this point if
Well, it
you're
was
complaining about.
predictable. Like
Yeah.
every time they have one of these deals, like they're going to complain about the sales of the game later, right? And
Yep.
first it was the Western publishers, which those ones were even multi-plat, but like they had crazy high expectations for those games. Like, but their JRPGs and stuff, they had like sometimes even lesser expectations for, but they still weren't meeting those. But it was a lot of it was because of their deals and stuff, and that's what when they had the new president, that was one of the first things he said is that they're gonna start putting their games elsewhere as well. And then you saw them on stage, what not this year, but the year last year with Phil Spencer at the TGS. And you saw them at the Dev Direct this year with Visions of Mana.
Yeah, they're on that
It's
stage and stuff.
yeah, it's obviously that, things are changing. You had also some games drop from the back from the library and the back catalog into Xbox this year at TGS as well, and then they go out and say they're gonna continue to put games on Xbox going forward. Now, what a lot of the games that are still coming out now are from deals that were made in the past, right?
Yeah.
And that goes
Like
for
someone
both
mentioned Final
companies.
Fantasy 7 Part 3 will still be that was from
Probably
Cygnus.
so.
Probably. Yeah.
I'm curious because, like, Final Fantasy Tactics was, like, leaked a long time ago in the NVIDIA leaks, if that one was one that was part of their deals at that time, I'm not sure. But, like, yeah, obviously, there's still gonna be things that are part of past deals that were made, but I think some of the deals that we're seeing and with the, partnering with third party companies for exclusivity now, which is what we're specifically talking about. We're not talking about first party exclusives or first party published games and stuff. We're talking
Yeah.
about specifically, hey, we're going to pay this company to market your game and make it only for our platform.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a different mentality when you get
Yeah.
a third party developer and a first
Because
party.
their money is at stake for the future of their franchises, not just your own. Right?
Right.
That's the biggest difference, right? So um the effect goes both ways with that. And there's two companies that you can affect, not just your own ecosystem, right? So, um, it's definitely something that's changing, right? And where I see now with PlayStation, most of their deals, you're starting to see some of these games, like even this year, that were made with some of the other companies, right? For exclusive deals and stuff like that, like, or smaller companies like you saw last year with, like, a Phantom Blade game, right? Never heard of them before, right? And then you have, stuff like what was the other one that they announced, um, that was coming?
Sony?
Yeah, there was another one that they, I think, released this year, actually. What was okay, so they Stellar Blade.
Stellar
Yes.
Blade?
That was one that they actually went out and got the publishing rights to the game, and then they ended up what that game was originally going to be everywhere, but instead now it's only on PlayStation. And
Yeah.
then the other thing that they did is like okay, so with
What, Black Myth?
Black Myth Wukong, that's not even like a official exclusivity deal per se, right? But it's come from multiple credible reporters and stuff that there is money that exchange hands not to release on Xbox, right? That didn't include the marketing side. It was just about excluding other ecosystems, which may have made sense for them at the time because they're like, this is going to be our primary platform anyway, right? So you're going to see like the smaller companies, I think, still kind of do these deals and stuff like that. But I think you're going to see less of the
The Segas, the Bandai.
Segas, the Squares, Bandai Namcos, and stuff like that. Konami is still probably there because they're kind of like got out of gaming for a little bit for the most part, but are kind of like starting to get back in and doing more now. But anyway, Fuzz, you see like this trend is obviously kind of changing now the more that these companies keep talking about this stuff.
Yeah, like I think the big thing is we've seen the bad examples, much like with Square Enix and a few other places where the numbers didn't quite add up to what they had hoped. Like the early part of like PlayStation's lineup for the PS5 this gen. What was that? The God Warrior thing or whatever that they had. That
God's Among or what was it?
Godfall, I think it
Godfall,
was.
yeah, yeah.
It didn't do as well. They wound up eventually bringing it to Xbox. They would have probably done a lot better on Xbox as a whole, or just in general releasing it at the same time. Bridge of Spirits took a while to come to Xbox, but they made mention within a short period of time it did well without even having to go to Game Pass. Sifu did the same thing, although I think they actually have a bigger player base on Xbox right now. I know PC was huge for them as well. So it's like a lot of the smaller devs take that initial money up front because it may help them get across the line to release their game, and you'll probably still
Nothing wrong
continue
with
to see
that
that. Yeah,
at all. Like,
but I think a lot more of them are trying to see either possibly convince Xbox to give them the money and do it in Game Pass, because a lot of times Xbox or Microsoft as a whole won't put the restriction that, well, if it's in Game Pass, they can still sell it on other platforms. So they could probably get enough money to be able to put it on all platforms at the same time and still get it in Game Pass and be able to get the game across the line. I think we see a lot more of the smaller devs looking at that as an option. There's already a waiting list for Game Pass as far as stuff for that, but the bigger developers, like I think Square Enix saw what Capcom did. They saw what Sega did. Actually, I think Sega saw what Capcom did and was like, you know what? We're going to try that too. Because Monster Hunter, what was it? Monster Hunter World, I think it was, like the first one that came to Xbox. That one did big numbers as far as being able to release it on all platforms at the same time. And it was like a trending hit for like in the top 10 most played for Xbox, for like those first 6 or 7 months or so that it was released. So I think Capcom kind of started, well, I wouldn't say they started the trend, but they took some more risks that, some of their, competing, publishers out in Japan wouldn't. Sega started to see that. Plus, there was the agreement or the business deal or partnership that Sega had with Microsoft, which a lot of people, joked about, oh, it'll just be for servers, blah, blah, blah. The super game stuff, that won't mean anything or whatever. And Sega, I think, looked at what Capcom was doing and looked at Square always saying that nothing is performing right. It was like, you know what? Let's try Yakuza, because we've pretty much topped out on what we're going to get on PlayStation and PC. Let's see what the Xbox fan base does. And we ate it up like candy, because it's a new series to our platform, and it's done well, and it's actually helped them grow a good bit. And then now, after their success and then bringing Atlas on board as well, I think Square is like, you know what? Our previous CEO kind of screwed the pooch. They cared more about the money as opposed to the longevity of the company, be it with the NFTs that they sold. What was that? What is it? Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal 4 and stuff. But yeah, I think we'll see more and more studios. I mean, Black Myth Wukong is kind of like that oddball one, which, Sony's still going to be shady and try and do stuff. And, companies like Pearl Abyss are like, no. We'll self-publish and we'll put it everywhere and we'll get that money all around. And they've done deals with Xbox as far as like some of the perks and things for Black Desert, and that did well on the Xbox platform. So, yeah, it's a lot more studios from that region are going to start not going for that easy money from PlayStation, just for the fact that even with 60 million consoles, if you're only like something that had as much hype around it like Stellar Blade and it'll only do about 1 million, that can't be what they were expecting. They were probably like, oh, 60 million consoles, we'll probably sell 5 or 6 million copies easy, because we should be able to get that 10% mark. They barely get, the 1% mark. So, it's. I think the trend is definitely going to be to follow a lot what these other studios did, and we'll see with things like what was that other one that's kind of like it was a mobile game company that's doing like the Ghost Blade or something, Phantom Blade.
Phantom Blade 0, I think.
Yeah, we'll see because they said that they haven't written off the plan to come to Xbox, but we'll see if they decide to change their mind with recent events and things, and see how quick they make an Xbox version, or if it's at the same time or not. But it's in their best interest for money.
Yeah, I think overall, like, some of the devs just need the money, right? You
Yeah.
know, and my argument always with Square and stuff like that is like, you're a big publisher. You know what I mean? Like, it's yeah, I'm sure you could use it and it's gonna help, but you don't like have to have that money from PlayStation for the security. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they were taking that, and that's why I call it like insurance checks. Like, it's like, well, if it like it's gonna help, you know, we're gonna take this money up front and we're gonna really push it as like our partnership with PlayStation here. And it was just easy to see like it wasn't really working, you know. And they had earlier when I was joking around my flop thing, like, you know, 3 of those flops were theirs, you know, Foam Stars, Babylon's Fall, and Forspoken. Right? Like, those were all, like, exclusives on PlayStation that were published by Square.
Yeah,
And,
Babylon's Fall. I can't even play that anymore.
yeah, those just did horribly. I'm not saying they would've done great if they were everywhere, you know, because I think, like, those games are just not, you know, that great to begin with, but they would've done better, you know. And the other thing is, like, you even see their big franchises, right? Their big franchises, they haven't been as happy with the performance of those. So, and I think that's the cue that Sega really puts out there is like, hey, our big franchises from the East, right? Are like big, you know, like a Dragon, Persona, and stuff like that. They are actually excelling now more so than ever because we are everywhere, right?
Yep.
And that's part of being a multi-platform third-party publisher, a big publisher, is having these big IPs. Like, I can make the case that like a lot of the most famous big, huge franchises that we know are household names today wouldn't be that from third-party companies if they were exclusives, because they wouldn't have made the amount of money that they needed to continue to become as monstrous as they are.
And
Whereas,
Sony has to be looking at this,
oh, for
figuring
sure.
out
Yeah,
like
they
how
gotta
to.
maneuver. Yeah, so they
Mm.
just shift and just make deals with who they can, right? But like these big publishers aren't gonna keep doing it. The You know, it's just kind of going with the times and stuff. So we're gonna see also like the whole shared ecosystem thing that Xbox has going on is starting to become more attractive to publishers as well. And you could see like where the even like a game like Metaphor that didn't have a Game Pass deal or anything like that, it had marketing, right? Did launch on the Xbox PC store, right? That allowed the dual entitlement for
Mm.
console and PC. So more and more of these games are starting to do that too. And that's something as a consumer we should champion. So I
Yeah.
would much rather Metaphor, like just ask yourself as a gamer, with excluding rooting for PlayStation, rooting for Xbox or anything. As a gamer, if you let's say you have a console, you have a PC, you have access to the cloud or on a mobile device or whatever, right? Would you rather have your a game just be exclusive to PlayStation or exclusive to Xbox, or would you rather it be in both places and you can also buy the game once on Xbox and play on PC, the cloud, and also on uh uh the console?
Yeah.
I would much rather do that. Like that, like as a
Yeah, I love
value
when
as a
when
consumer,
they
it's
do that.
amazing.
Yeah, I love when um I guess is it just technically Xbox Play Anywhere?
I
Is that
I
technically
I
what it is?
think so. I think so. I think it's where Xbox Play Anywhere. I think is what the
Yeah.
technical term for that is.
Um, I love it when they do that because I like Starfield, for example. I would jump between the PC and the Xbox and the PC and Xbox. Um, I did that when I was beating Starfield about a couple weeks ago, and it's like it feels like the future and what other consoles should do. Like with Sony, I wish I could just be like, okay, let me just play this and then continue it somewhere else. And on the PC or something, and then just jump between that and have that be an easy, seamless experience and stuff like that. Like it seems like where gaming should be going. It is cool that if you think about it, also when you were talking, Mav, it just reminded me of like what Xbox One was trying to do in the initial generation with like sharing games and things like that with Xbox One. Like you can rent or share this game. It's like you're basically sharing licenses and stuff. It seems like Xbox is always like kind of reading the tea leaves, reading the future, and they have like really smart analytical people that are able to kind of read the tea leaves of like where the industry is going. I just find it's like crazy interesting that out of the big three, Xbox, they were the first one to put games on like PC. And I remember that being an outcry, like, what? Putting your exclusive games on PC? Like, what do you mean? And now they're kind of starting the front of their own games, like going to multiple platforms to kind of grow the user base and things like that. And now third party developers are kind of seeing that as well. So it's kind of like, we'll see what the next 5 to 10 years looks like, but it looks like a lot of developers are going to just opt to release a game on Xbox, Switch, everything. And it's all about the ecosystem. And we always joke that it would be the ecosystem wars in the future. Like console gaming, I love console gaming. That's still my preferred thing. But I see a future where eventually we play on the X Station Switch box, and we just pick which ecosystem, like an app, that we prefer. I mean, maybe not in a while from now, but I mean, in a hypothetical future, I can see that happening. I mean, that's where companies want you to be, anyways. Like consoles, they basically have the same amount of users every single generation. We talk about this. But the PC mobile space has way more users than console, and that's where you can find growth. So that's where a lot of these companies, why they're pivoting to be in multiple places. Because console, you get your same 200 whatever million, however many players are on console. But PC and mobile, that's where it's at. So these companies are realizing that and like, ooh. Yeah, we could get that upfront Sony money, sure, but we probably could make a lot more in the long run. It's more of like a long-term thing that you should be thinking about with your game and your franchises. But it depends on where you're at as a publisher. Like Mav mentioned, like the Bandai Namco's, the Square Enix's, the Sega's. It makes more sense financially for them to just put it everywhere, and then you basically are getting that money from all these different platforms. And then what ends up happening is like that really relates to growth, because people end up like really liking it, like me with the Yakuza and things like that. So
Yep.
yeah,
100%, man. That's what it's all about. Getting new fans. Even like something as crazy as Call of Duty is Game Pass now. How many more of these people that just started playing Call of Duty again since the 360 era are going to
like
be
me.
more excited for the next one?
Yeah, I'm definitely playing the next one now.
Yeah.
Now that I played this one, so it got me.
Anyway, well, guys, we have one more segment here on FS, and it is called this is the segment where we look ahead at the games releasing for the week, and we are going to be taking a look at, I think there's 12 this week. So yeah, should have some decent ones here.
When you go rogue.
Oh, hold on, it's an ad. I need to get my YouTube Premium back. Here we go. First one.
I'll share a link with you that you can avoid the ads otherwise.
Oh, right on.
Now this
Yeah,
is Stardew Valley. It's the 1.6 update. It's going to probably just show the trailer for Stardew Valley, but they just did the 1.6 update, which adds some different biomes and things like that. It's coming to mobile for the first time at $4.99, and it's still $14.99 on like PC and console. But this update is hitting mobile as well as console at this time.
I
Right
also
on.
played this for the first time, like last week. It's hard to explain.
It's a farming game.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's a farm game. It's like all you do is farm every single day. And yeah, Mav was botting on my end, but I think you're fine now. Say something, Mav.
Hi. Is everything
Yeah,
good?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
good now.
Yeah, my internet's been a little in and out the last couple days. There's a browser plug that removes ads on YouTube for free.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had ad blocker. I use Opera browser.
Opera.
Yeah, I like Opera. But the thing is, like, YouTube started catching on, and they're like, if you still have this ad blocker, by the next video, we are blocking you from being able to watch videos. I'm like, what the heck?
Wow.
So YouTube is being a little scrubless lately. So they're starting to implement stuff so you can't watch ads anymore,
It's cool signal.
or you have to watch ads.
Mm.
You gonna get this game, Mav? Is this a day one?
So what's different about this one again? It's releasing on something else.
Yeah, it's coming to mobile, and it's getting a few new biomes and things like that. And there's a lot of bug fixes and updates, like different things being added. Some more music's been added. For the most part, it's like a slight expansion with more
Yeah.
modern stuff.
I could see myself maybe eventually playing this on my OLED tablet, my Samsung tablet. When we're watching movies at night and stuff like that, just kind of a chill, relaxing thing. The one thing I remember from playing Stardew Valley, I remember I didn't like the day-night cycles and stuff because like I felt rushed. Like I remember there's this thing, talk to the blah 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 today, and I was like, but I'm sitting here messing with my damn pumpkins or whatever the hell. I didn't want to have to race across town and find this guy.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just for that though.
We live in an age
Crossed
of
wires.
comfort.
Yeah,
Convenience
Crosswired is only coming to
of
PC
technology.
Monday.
Automation
It's
allows for
$16.99
unparalleled
on
production
Steam and I believe
improved
Epic Store.
work-life balance. Technology improves travel, keeping our streets safe for you and your loved ones.
Is this
This
running on
reminds me
the
of that-
PS5 Pro?
The technology that powers us into the future. Become the ultimate AI and solve
This is
every
PS5 Pro
Oh, it's
enhanced.
on fire! Oh my god!
Warranty voided.
Get some true ray tracing. Ray tracing.
It looks complicated.
This reminds me of that hospital game. It's like this EA hospital game.
Hmm.
It's like a top-down. You can run a hospital. I forgot what that's called, but it kind of reminds me of it. Oh my gosh, what is this?
This is
This is on.
definitely
These graphics
all
are
in
all-
on retro.
Crossed wires on acid coming November to Steam. Ooh, this one's hitting Game Pass day one, and I was gonna buy this anyway. I think. So.
Yeah, it's $24.99, I believe, is the price that they're going to sell it at. Metal Slug Tactics coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC. Pretty much the only place it's not coming to just yet is mobile.
Nice. I like this trailer. Never been a huge Metal Slug guy, but
Well, this is Metal Slug Tactics, which I'm a big Tactics fan, and the Tactics gameplay on this is awesome to me.
yeah.
Speaking of Tactics, I streamed a game yesterday called Sumerian 6, which is a stealth tactics game. Pretty fucking awesome. So
Yeah, I
like,
catch a little bit of it when I was like getting ready for my stream. It looked really good, actually. I was like, oh, maybe I'll check that one out. You gonna get this map?
This isn't Game Pass. I don't have to get it.
Oh, Magic.
I don't have to.
I missed
get
that part.
it. I was going to get it, but now I don't have to get it since they made that announcement. But I will be playing the hell out of this for sure. I love these kind of games. I've never been like a Metal Slug guy because it's been more of that like running bullet hell type of game or whatever. But put that into some kind of a tactics form, it just looks awesome to me. This is my kind of game.
Heck yeah.
I remember seeing this trailer for the first time like 2 years ago.
Mhm.
I was like, wow, that looks amazing. So super happy that it's in the Game Pass.
This is Planet Coaster coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC this Wednesday for $49.99.
I haven't the last like coaster game I played was like Roller Coaster Tycoon years ago. Yeah, maybe it's 10. That's pretty good.
Yeah, these games you can put a lot of time in.
Yeah.
Did the original Planet Coaster come out like around 2020 launch year?
Something like that, yeah.
This one looks better.
Oh, you're definitely getting copyright struck. That sounded like that popular artist. I forgot his name. That's it. Imagine Dragon?
That it sounds like Andy Grammer to me. I don't know.
The amount of like variety in these coasters are really cool. It's co-op? I wonder how the multiplayer works.
I have no idea. 3-bit. Good question. We walk around together and get ice cream. I don't know.
Because it said like you could build with your friends, and then it said like this part of the park,
Right.
whatever. But you know, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dang, it's out in 2 days.
At Mint Mobile, we
Oh.
like to do the
Hold on.
opposite.
Ryan.
Well, I'll play the Fortnite ad. That'll be a good one.
Oh, it's time for me to jump back into Fortnite.
Here we
So
go.
you
kinda
want to
missed it.
join
Brighter
the
Shores?
Hopepot
Yeah,
Town
Brighter
Bar?
Shores. This is coming to
here's what you
PC and Mac this
We're not
Wednesday.
just about
It
fighting
appears to be a
fire
free-to-play.
terrorists. We also investigate
Oh.
potential threats and help
Another,
out
like,
the people
tactic
we meet.
Game.
All recruits will learn how to use magic, alchemy, and whatever this thing is. You will also be trained in essential
The
survival
Civ
skills.
7 Founders Edition is $129.99.
blacksmithing, and assembling
What the heck?
dinosaurs.
What's in the Founders
Set
Edition?
sail for brighter shores today.
No idea. They had Civ 5 or 6 S6 was on sale like a couple weeks ago for like $4. Like that was crazy.
It's crazy. I never heard of this game. It kind of reminds me of RuneScape.
A huge number of professions to try. It's like Minecraft meets
This really is like
turn-based
RuneScape.
tactics.
You ever played
Never-
RuneScape back in the day, man? Yeah. I was in a RuneScape music video
Were you?
a long time ago. They would do like those AMV type RuneScape videos. Yeah. Someone made like a music video and told me like, do this action. I was like, okay.
Brighter Shores.
Very short.
Your
I
15
love
minutes
that
of
title
fame.
screen. It was fun. What happened at the end there?
I blew a kiss.
Oh, you blew a kiss. Oh.
This one is Mirthwood, also just coming to PC this Wednesday.
And untamed.
It didn't have a price listing or one of those pre-orders. I'm assuming this is going to be like a $39.99 game.
Upon arrival, create who you want to be.
Could
like
possibly be a
strategy mode, huh?
$29.99 game.
Choose from various character
It's like
backgrounds and
strategy mode.
traits. As you explore Mirthwood,
It was top-down
aim to
strategy.
hunt and
Kill the
forage for
deer.
supplies.
Pick the berry.
Brave at their nature. And craft gear for the road ahead. You will encounter
Crafting and
many
survival.
friends and many foes.
I'm noticing the characters are only moving side to side so far.
Embark on quests and stumble upon
Can you go up and
mysteries
down?
across the world.
I don't
Looks
know.
like you can.
You would think so. I haven't seen it yet.
Choices. Your actions in the game will be impactful.
They
Affecting
probably
your
still show them
renown
from that side perspective, just with their feet
and
kind of
even
moving
how the
weird as they move.
inhabitants
Yeah,
through.
it's like-
and interact with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
no,
Oh, there
You
you go.
choose.
You can move
Settle
up.
down
This
and
game
make
has an up and down.
Raise animals, orchards, and structures.
Can you move diagonal?
You gotta wait for the
Now
next
you're
trailer
just
to
trying to
start.
break the game.
Performing
Yeah.
actions will level different skills, unlocking powerful skill cards as you build your character.
Interesting RPG
Mirthwood
characters.
is
Yeah,
fully
I like how-
simulated breathing world,
How it's laid
where
out.
citizens
Like
go
some of these
about their
mechanics can
daily
get like
lives
really
working
complicated,
to
but if you
survive.
put it into the UI pretty
The
simply,
characters you meet each have
me enjoy
unique
it more.
personalities
as someone who like kind of dives
Discover
into
their
these type of
traits
games,
and earn
Yeah,
loyal
that part's
companions,
really simple for me, so I can enjoy it.
sworn enemies.
Just spit in his
The
face.
right attire might help you pull off that joke you've been working on. The world of Mirthwood is waiting for you
Like, intimate
to
beyond
calm
lost
your
art.
Narrators put me to
And-
sleep.
whether with spade, sword,
I mean,
or
the
silver tongue.
game itself has some interesting aspects. It's almost like
You'll uncover
a
along
paper
the way
version of what was that game I
is
like?
anyone's guess.
Kingdom Come Deliverance, like Paper Mario version.
Yeah.
Decado says diagonal movement is in the
Wait,
expansion.
It's a game about traveling left to right and sometimes up and down. Very swords and it's very
Speaking of Nintendo, Mario and Luigi Brothership coming to Switch this Thursday for $59.99.
This is the game where it's like a lot of things are happening online with this game because IGN rated it low, and people are like, what?
Yeah, they gave it a 5.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I saw a lot of A's, I saw a couple 9s, and there's IGN's 5.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I must not have gotten free code.
They wanted
Yeah.
to see Mario and Luigi's sister show.
It looks fun though. I like the duo sort of gameplay mechanic. It's like the most different Mario and Luigi game I've ever seen.
Did the song call them Ghetto Bros, or did they say Get 'em Bros?
They're saying get 'em.
I don't know if they called them Ghetto Bros. They said Get 'em Bros.
Yo, bro. Bro, ho. So,
What's up with the pirate music? It doesn't fit.
they're not in the pirate land.
Yeah, I assumed it's like a pirate theme thing, but it doesn't look very.
It doesn't look
pirate-y.
piratey.
Except for the the one ship that they show. But yeah, it's a
Yo-ho,
strange
bro.
Mario game. All right, this next one is Metro Awakening VR, coming to PSVR 2 all the Meta Quests and Steam VR headsets.
Have you seen Yana?
Now it's $39.99 everywhere except on Metastore. On Metastore, it's $44.99 with a $5 pre-order sale, making it the $44.99. It's normally $49.99 on Meta, which is weird to me that it's more expensive, but I'm wondering if it has better graphics in the built-in for the Meta Quest, like 3.
Yeah. Graphics are looking good for a VR game.
Yeah.
Is that you? I'm seeing things. Hearing things.
It's interesting. Does Deep Silver usually handle
Sometimes we need to become
partnerships
the thing
with
we fear
Metro?
to prevent something worse.
It's interesting that Deep Silver's working on this. It's like Deep Silver and I forget what they said the other.
Vertigo.
Because they don't do the mainline Metro games. I just thought that was interesting.
Oh
This-
God.
This next one is Goat Simulator Remastered, coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC this Thursday for $29.99. But you can save a few bucks and play it through Game Pass.
I
Is
did
there a
design.
Goat Simulator every fucking week on Tidbits?
It really feels that way. I wonder if the one sign I made in this game was remastered. I gotta look for it. I like the transitions when they're flying. It's like licking the screen. Wow. That sound. Wait, was that a trailer or was that you? I couldn't tell.
Got these, baby? These
I won't tell you.
They're so good.
Oh my gosh.
What if I told you that you could block all ads?
Yeah, what?
Yeah,
Yes,
get an ad.
help me out.
Tell me how to block your ad.
All right, this next one is Unrailed 2 Back on Track. Coming to early access on PC for $19.99 this Thursday.
To help with that, you can equip cartridges that give you new skills, such as items being magnetically drawn to you, or gaining super strength and being able to throw resources over far
I
distances.
guarantee we got that
There's also
ad. 'Cause
visual
we
player
just recently
upgrades
talked
with a
about
lot of
blocking ads.
customization options to choose from.
Probably.
They
And
heard
then there's
us.
improvements for the wagons too. Equip this cannon cart with an extension, and you can shoot new tracks right to the front. Or take the new turrets for a spin. Or just go completely off the rails. When you're done
Sounds like it
upgrading
could
your
be really
train,
fun.
choose where it heads next. Do you want to take on more risk to get better upgrades? Or are you all ready for the boss at the end of each biome?
Depends how they do it.
You got boss battles?
With
Yeah,
this
okay.
one, you'll have to plan your train track carefully, or you'll run out of space to build your tracks on.
I'm not a huge fan of the crossy road graphics.
Yeah.
It's like Minecraft. I mean, I'm interested. I'm just wondering, like,
How far will your train get?
like,
Find out when Unrailed 2
like,
steams
you're just
into
trying to
early
get from
access
one
on November the 7th.
part of
Which is
the
now
world
on
to the
Steam.
other? Like, is that the point of building the tracks? Because she said you like run out of space. Like, that's the only thing I'm kind of confused on. But it looks like it could be fun.
Yeah.
All right, this
How
next
would it
one
have
is
ended
called Two Falls. I
if we
forgot to
chose
write
it
the
differently?
last part. It's something in, I guess, Japanese, but I believe it's
Nishu Takuwachina.
yeah. This is coming to PC. It will eventually come. Well, it's listed or announced already for PS5. It should be coming to Xbox as well. It just said TBA or to be announced.
When we fought to make
Price
it ours,
this Friday should be
the land bit
$29.99.
us back. And not every monster is made of teeth and claws.
He's gone.
Pardon us our sins.
Rock like everything else you ruined.
Don't worry, he'll be okay.
So, you'll just leave me here to die? Captain! Oh no!
This looks like it could be good.
Yeah.
Like one of those walking story games. Kind of reminds me of like something like Firewalk.
Mm-hmm.
Not Firewalk
There's two
Studios.
sides to every story,
They're gone.
and yours isn't over yet.
Two Falls. Ishu Takawachina.
Now, this is probably the main one that I'm looking forward to out of this whole group. Slitherhead, coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC this Friday. It's $49.99 with a pre-order savings on PS Plus to $44.99.
Oh, this game. So this game was the one I was saying, like, it could go either way. Like, it could be pretty good or just not good at all.
Nothing else like it.
No in between. It's like the Silent Hill creator or something like this.
Yeah, very unique.
I just like the fact that you're almost sacrificing people to fight these little demon things.
Yeah.
Like you can take the human, jump them off of a fire escape, jump out of their body to the other human that's on their like patio or something, and then make them jump in front of a car and go to another body. It's like, this is weird, but in a good way.
Yeah. Well, let Steel be our testers. See what he says about it. See if we should invest. Like Decado said, Steel can translate. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's like you just made that person commit suicide by jumping off the building to jump to another body.
次々と宿主を変えることで街中をこうすごい高速で駆け抜けるようなアクションがあったり、時にはその宿主をこう見捨てることで
This is not what I expected.
命をつないだりとか
Some strange looking demons.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to be curious about the response, you know? Playing.
Yeah, because the previous trailer didn't show some of these mechanics.
ゲームであればこういった立ち回りをしなければみたいなことをやる、まあ、最初はやっていくんですけど、あ、違うんだこのゲームはっていう、こうで全く違う立ち回りというのが自然とこう身についてきた時の自分の中での意識の変化みたいなとこ
So
ろ
can you just grab random peeps on the street and like, hey, you're coming with me for the rest of the game?
It's like body snatchers. You take them over.
人間に擬態しているから、その本体の本さらした時にも実は擬態生物がモチーフになっているみたいな。
I'm going to play as the food vendor, Bob, after the game.
Right.
Can I do that?
Oh, Bob's health is too low. Let me jump to the person across the street.
Sarah, the hot dog vendor.
このスリッター配布ですが、この番組が終わった直後から本日、マイクロソフトストアにて Xbox 版の予約を開始させていただきます。通常版に加えまして、アートの設定資料集やサウンドトラックなども含まれたデラックスエディションといったものも用意しておりますので、ぜひとも予約をお願いいたします。
Very cool. Something, I mean, I like the creativity and everything. I'm just wondering how it's going to play and all that.
Yeah.
But looks super interesting.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Games in this
Yeah, that's
podcast
it.
range from E to M.
All right. Yeah, that was pretty solid week. I mean, this was week following Call of Duty kind of, and we had lots of like indie kind of stuff in here. Slitterhead is probably the most interesting. You also have Planet Coaster, but I'm most excited about Metal Slug Tactics.
Yeah.
Personally. So, but yeah, overall solid week. I think we've definitely had worse weeks for games releases. Right?
Yeah, a lot of strategy this week. A lot of top-down strategy games for sure.
Yeah.
It's not always my wheelhouse. It has to like really entice me with some like cool mechanics and stuff for me to try it out. But I don't hate it.
Right on.
Some cool stuff.
Well, this was a fun show, guys. Thanks for hopping on with me tonight. And chat, thank you for the support and watching the show. Remember, if you do like the content here, hit the like button, share, notification bell, sub. all that cool stuff. Greatly helps us grow and helps people find the channel. Audio listeners, shout out to you as well. You can check out. Yeah, we didn't talk about that, Nate Dogg. We were probably gonna talk about
Oh
that
yeah.
maybe on PM in the PM or on XUP on Friday. I want to learn more about it. Hopefully, maybe get some more information, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper later this week. But yeah, audio listeners, appreciate you. If you leave a review, let us know what you think about the show as well on your favorite audio platforms. I thank you all for listening. But hey, Fuzzy Belvedere, where can everybody find your rambles and rants?
As always, awesome being on here with you guys. Love doing this on Monday evenings. They can find my rambles and rants on anything gaming related on the app formerly known as Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find me on Blue Sky, what do you call it? Threads, Instagram, other places. Just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere. You can also find me on Breakfast with Boom Friday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time this Friday morning. Then later that afternoon or evening, you can find me on Fright Night with Ferocious Fee at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just do a search on YouTube for Fright Night with Ferocious Fee. You'll be able to find us. And then later that evening, or right after that podcast, we'll be right back here on this channel for Xbox Ultimate at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you guys there. Thanks again.
Thanks, Fuzzy. Appreciate you as always, bro. And 3-bit. What about you, sir? Where can everybody find you?
Great show. It was really fun. Everybody in the chat, you guys are awesome. Takato, what the heck? You're awesome as well. Shout out to you and everybody who chooses to spend time with us every single time we do a show. It always means a lot, us just jumping in. And I just picture if there's like 10 of you guys and we're in a room full of 10 people, that's a lot to me. So thank you guys for showing up in all of our shows, whether it's FSP or anywhere. I see you guys in a lot of our chats, so appreciate you being within our community and supporting us. You guys can find me on Twitter at i3bit. I'm on this show, occasionally make special guest appearances on Xbox Ultimate when I can, and then Pixelated Echoes every Sunday. We just had a pretty fun show yesterday, so you can go check that out. Just hit 400 subs, so that's pretty cool. We're almost there.
Nice.
To 500. Have crazy emotes. I think you can do emotes at 500. I can't remember.
You can actually be a YouTube partner now at 500.
Oh yeah. So soon, get us to that 500. We'll be there soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's gonna be a crazy, interesting week. We'll see. A lot of things are happening in the world, so it's always nice to come back here, gaming stuff. But love y'all. Mav, get us on out of here. Where can we find everything, brother?
Yeah. We'll have PM in the PM Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. XUP is Xbox Ultimate Podcast Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And then you never know, something crazy happens in the gaming world, and I have to go live. You can see a random.
I like your Mavcast. Like, I'm glad you're doing that, like, more.
Awesome. Like lately, there hasn't been as much like exciting, crazy stuff to talk about. It's just been mainly like, hey, everything is normal as it should be for the most part, right? But been doing some more game stream stuff too, right? So I'll keep doing that more. But overall, yeah, I kind of the Mavcast happens when I have a lot of energy to talk about something specifically. So, but you never know when those are going to happen. If I see something online, I'm like, what did that person say? That's stupid. Yeah, you may see me do it. But yeah, I'm trying to do more and more. I appreciate you guys. And then also, this weekend, maybe some more Call of Duty streams as well. So
you're starting to bot a little bit.
Am I starting to bot again?
Yeah.
I think it's storming outside. Probably what it is.
Oh.
But
good.
Anyway, thank you everybody for being here. Appreciate it. And we'll see you on our other shows. And have a good bye.
Bye, y'all.
Later.